What you gonna do with all that cash? Gonna save it for the future. All you gotta do is buy the dips. When you get that sweet dividend, just drip. Oh, compound interest.
All right, there we go. That's me. What do you do? What do you think? Hey, have you ever in your life heard a song, a 90s melodic skate punk song about compound interest? No, you haven't. And I never did either. So that's why I made it. Suno, Suno, fun little app. And it's AI music. It's crazy. That song, I gave it a text prompt. Took me maybe about 45 seconds. Okay, we'll say maybe a minute to make that. So it's a longer song, but I just give a little 30-second taste of it. And yeah, skate punk is not everybody's flavor. I love melodic skate punk, 1990s style. So, hey, compound interest, right? Pretty cool. But yeah, Trevon, I see you down there. I'm going to say hello to, oh, dude, my man, Kevin. What's up, Kevin? This guy, was it the Citrus Connection? He knows those bus tables in and out. Kevin is a little bit of a local celebrity down there in Lakeland, Florida. And dude, that is so awesome. So thank you for sending me those videos. That was a pleasure to see. Literally, man, you have purpose and you're making your community a better place. That is so cool. And that's what it's all about, man. So I don't know who I did submit it already. Thank you. Popped in a couple hours before we went live, and apparently this is from my thumbnail. He's saying I look so happy. Yes, I'm happy. Hey, cookie, sticker, brownie, pat on the head. Okay, I'd probably take a beer instead of a sticker and a cookie, but and a brownie. I'm not really a sweets guy. So Pat, hello, Steve. Steve, I did not catch Simply Safe Dividends, his latest video. So what is it about? Tell me. Chris, what was that new stock you bought? My guy Josh, what's going on, man? I'm glad you liked it. And yeah, I don't pay up for StreamYard like Mr. Ryan Williams does and a few other people. So you might have noticed they do like a little intro thing as it's counting down or whatever they play. So 5 stocks paying dividends for over 100 years. That's interesting. Speaking of things that haven't happened in a while, I did see that the S&P 500 dividend yield is what, like 1.1 or 1.2%. I think it's 1.1%, which is the lowest that it's been at 20 years and I think even longer. So, man, that should tell you how overvalued the market is. So if you buy it now, if you bought 100 shares, you'd be getting what, little over $100, and a year ago it was like 170. But hey, it's that total return, right? And this is something we struggle with is like, do you want that higher yield or do you want more growth, which is going to give you a bigger total return? I struggle with that because I love passive income, that I do, but I'm also looking for that growth component in the business. And, I know Ian Lopik won't be watching this, no offense, but when he has something like Campbell's Soup, ticker CPB, looks to me like it's a dinosaur that's going nowhere. And I did watch his video. He said he read their annual report and they have a growth department now or something like that. But, the S&P 500 is always going to grow. If Visa, I think, is room to grow. Costco, lots of room to grow. And, I got to stop being stubborn. I did share in the newsletter. I don't know if any of you guys are like me where I'm calling SGov, the 0 to 3 month treasuries, my thumb sucking position. It's where I'm just putting cash every week while I'm too scared because I think everything's so expensive. But Trevon, dude, it wasn't that rough, Lucas. I liked it. Hey, I shared it with Ryan Williams. He said he's going to put it on repeat. So that makes 2 of us and 1 of you, Lucas. So, but then also, come on, how are you going to have like an epic song about investing and compound interest and dripping your dividends, right? It's, I think for the amount of effort I put into it, I think it's fantastic, quite honestly. I also made a song about my cat Louie. My family loved it. They were, my kids, they're teenagers. They're like sick of the AI slop, and they thought it was pretty good. So we won't be playing that one. The song about my cat Louie, where if you don't brush him when he wants to be brushed, he gets a little upset about it, and we'll leave it at that. But Trevon with uh, uh, Alexandria Real Estate, yeah, they've had a rough week. I think the dividend's going to cut. I think they're going to cut that dividend. I know the Trump administration, right, is not big on biopharmaceuticals. So I think that's right, probably having a ripple effect down to the lab spaces that Alexandria Real Estate. Granted, this is just from things I've read quickly. I still haven't done a deep dive into them. So take all of this with a grain of salt, but it's just what seems to make sense to my mind about Alexandria Real Estate, which is a lot of lab science, lab spaces, life science. That's what they call it. Life science spaces. But yeah, I wouldn't. I'm just gonna stick with my bread and butter, Agree Realty and Vici Properties, which I did have a YouTube comment about Vici that they said it looks very risky to them because Vegas tourism is, they think, collapsing. But I was there 2 weeks ago, which is crazy how fast time is flying. And yeah, it was down, but man, Vegas, there was still a lot of people there, I thought. And the thing to remember before we move on from this comment is with Vici Properties in Vegas, they are the landlord to most of the casino operators on the strip. They own the property. So the casinos are contractually obligated to pay them rent, and they have escalators in the buildings, but also in their contracts where they get more money every year built, for inflation. But as long as those casinos have to pay them rent, then Vici is good. And as long as those casinos don't go out of business, things should be fine. So that would be pretty crazy if like MGM went out of business. It could happen, but yeah. So we'll do we'll do news. We got a lot of stuff cooking, right? Yeah, Josh, Less Than Jake. Hey, I never got big into Less Than Jake. I saw them when they first came out. And Johnny Quest Thinks We're Sellouts is one of my favorite songs by them. And I will skip the Malort, but I'll have I don't know what this, Malort's grow. If you guys haven't had it, some people like it. It's a Chicago thing. If you're ever in Chicago and you want to seem like you're local, it's funny. I say, you ask for a Chicago handshake. It's some Malort and an old style. You get a shot of Malort, which is disgusting cough medicine type stuff, and you get an old style beer, and they call it a Chicago handshake. And as I say that, as somebody that's born and raised in Chicago, except for the few years that I was in the Navy, I was last winter out at a bar, and I asked for a Chicago handshake, and the lady behind the bar said, "What is that?" So Honeywell split. I'm actually interested in Honeywell because I think now they're just going to be focused on aerospace. And that's, I think, a sneaky investment for aerospace. I'm going to look at it. I'm going to take a look at Honeywell post split, but I'd like to know your guys' thoughts, right? Oh, Chris, you bought Meta. Yeah, hey, that could be, dude. A couple people you bet against that hasn't worked out is you got, I guess Elon, right? Bezos, Zuckerberg. You bet against those guys. People bet against Buffett. Yeah, that hasn't, it hasn't worked out, but I know that he's spending a ton of money, Mark Zuckerberg, with Meta. And we'll see. Is it going to pay off? I don't know. No, I don't know if anybody knows, but all these companies, they all have to spend a whole heck of a lot of money. So it's kind of funny that we've always thought of them as capital light businesses, which they are, like Microsoft, Meta, not Netflix. No, they spend a lot. but they're having to spend a lot now because of AI and to keep up. And I think it's to fend off companies, right? Like OpenAI. So, the cult of the covered call ETF sounds like a band name. They constantly don't explain the structure of the financial products. Sorry if that was a sip in your ear. Yeah, I don't know. It could be unethical, but as you say here, Warren Buffett's understudy. I love studying Buffett. I've been reading a Peter Lynch book from the early 90s, and you have to understand what you're buying, right? It sounds simple. Like Peter Lynch said, know what you own, know what you oh my god, I can't believe I messed it up. You know what you own and why you own it. You know, that's the simplest explanation that Peter Lynch gives. And you they pay out a lot of, and I caught a lot of shit, right? From people about I was gonna do it. He swore. Did you hear him swear? Yeah, now I can right with the little. No, we won't do that too much, but they pay out. Nothing is the higher the yield, the higher the risk. And people were telling me that that was wrong. These are different. But if you look at ULTY, MSTY, TSLY, they just they chronically underperform on a total return basis. NVDY, the NVIDIA covered leveraged cover call ETF, stay away from it. You know what? Just buy NVIDIA, just buy Netflix or Tesla. You don't have to pay almost a 1% expense ratio to the management team, which out of all of those, they're going to get paid regardless of how the fund performs. If the fund underperforms and then shuts down and then they open up another one, they get their money. As Warren Buffett had said, if people will buy it, Wall Street will sell it, or if Wall Street can sell it, they will sell it, that type of thing. D's, I'm telling you, just go on to Suno. I've been using the free tier, Suno AI Music, and you can make yourself your song. That's it, man. You just tell it. You text what you want it to be about, the style. Yeah, I mean, there's infinite possibilities. I think it's a lot of fun. And for someone like me that does play guitar, but I'm busy, I don't have a few weeks to come up with a song and mix it and edit it. I do have a couple minutes to tell it what I want it to sound like. So, the firm's chairman declared Alexandria had one of the strongest and safest dividends in the REIT sector. Who said that? Alexandria, John? Because I see her. I don't know who said that, John, but I don't know. I mean, I did hear some analysts that pimped it. Here, let's tell you what. Let's go over to. All right, I'm not too far behind you guys. Let's go over to. I want to go over to Seeking Alpha, and let me get it set up here and bring you guys with, just to see what the analysts are saying about good old Seeking Alpha right now. I prematurely shrunk myself. All right, let's put in ARE. Ooh, sorry. I love Seeking Alpha. You know what, guys? There is I'll be talking about it. There's a Black Friday sale for Seeking Alpha coming up, and it's just, do yourself a favor, get it for a year. It's great. You see headlines where it says one of the Leo Nellison is one of the authors I follow, or analysts. One of the best energy opportunities I've seen in my career, and nobody cares. And let's just get the name. We won't go too much further than that. And it is. Come on, Leo. Where is it? I know. I'm skimming. Here it is. The natural gas market is one of my favorite places to be right now. It's why I bought Antero Resources for his trading account. So there you go. Antero, ticker AR, is what Leo Nellison thinks is a great one. And why are we here? We are here for Trevon and ARE, Alexandria Real Estate. The quant thinks it's a hold. It's taken a bit of a dive here. What are we down? Over the last year, 48%. Over the last 5 years, 62%. So it's been a rough go. But there you go. You actually had on Halloween, one of their analysts, Mark Byrne, who's a CFA, gave it a strong buy, a hold, a sell. So right there, we've run the gamut right there. You got a sell, you have a hold, you have a strong buy, and a couple more strong buys before the news came out about the earnings falling short and Alexandria reducing their AFFO guidance. So Trevon, I don't know, man. If you hold it, I guess you could continue holding it, but I wouldn't run out to buy Alexandria real estate. And I'm gonna get caught up to all y'all in the chat. Yeah, hip hop drip. Make that song, Deez. Share it with me when you do, because then you can share songs with people, like I did with Mr. Ryan Williams. Yeah, Josh, boom and bust cycles of financial markets when it comes to Las Vegas. Uh, it they're going to adjust. I'd like to shout out that yours truly just slammed together two words. We were going to, you can't stop it. It's in the back. It's in your brain. They're going to becomes gunu. Gunnu, I think is how you'd spell that. I'm clean, I'm sober, and I'm smashing words together, everybody. Hey, it's what happens when you talk and you know, like I think of myself popping in and somebody saying like, man, is this all this guy does is talk? Is he ever shut up? But you sold Vici. Oh, dude, that would be crazy. If you have casinos on the Vegas Strip going bankrupt, it could happen. I don't see it, man. I don't see it. They're prepared for these cycles. They're going to adjust. I said going to. They're going to make changes to the business. Everything got really expensive really quick because people kept going, people kept paying it. Well, like, what do they say the cure for high prices is? High prices. What's the cure for low prices? Low prices. So the cure for high prices is high prices because people will want to start making money and they'll start doing, I don't know if undercutting is the right word, right? It's like economics 101. They want to make more sales, so they'll sell a little bit cheaper and then they'll go a little bit cheaper across the way. And yeah, dude, if you love Malort, hey, the less Malort I drink is the more that's available for you and all the people that love Malort. So knock your socks off and responsibly consume Malort. Yes, I did see the new. I didn't read their earnings, but they do have a lot of cash, and I think it's a combination of. What do me? I think. Who am I? I'm just a guy that reads a lot and pays attention to things, but that's probably he wants to leave a lot of opportunity for Greg Abel because Warren. It's it. We're down to the wire here before he steps down. So. And also, he's done this before. A lot of times, Buffett has I don't know how to say it. I was going to say predecessed. I don't know. He has built up a lot of cash. Just say it how you want to say it. He's built up a lot of cash before markets have crashed. So when you see Buffett build up that cash, might be preparing for a crash. Oh, do they have those? Yeah. You saw, I dabbled. Oh boy, did I receive a lot of fun comments in those. JJ, I think QQQI though is one of the more. What is the yield on QQQI? I think that's a little bit more. Expense ratio 0.68. That's not crazy. And the yield is 13.34%. I think that's high, but it's not a 100% yield or 80% yield. And hey, the Seeking Alpha Quant thinks it's a buy. Did I tell you guys they're going to be running a Black Friday sale? I think I did. Hey, what's up there, Mr. JJ? Where are you from, JJ? Just post your mailing address and no, I just generally, you could say a state or not. I don't care. Tell me you're from the Northern Hemisphere. I do believe, yeah, let's look up that Trivon and let's see. Boy, I just realized I did not shave today. So what does that mean? It doesn't mean nothing. While I'm goofing around trying to find the share screen. Here we go. And here was QQQI. Compound interest. See, it's in my head. Come on, that's a banger. Whoever starts this video from the beginning, you got a nice little earworm of a banger. And I should have put that in there. Create a massive earworm about compound interest and dripping your dividends. To build that dividend snowball. What am I doing here? Oh, QQQI. I was looking up Burke. Let's do Burke B. And then let's do some quick charting comparison. Yeah. I don't want to do S&P 500 because we'll just do VOO. Trash the S&P 500. We'll go VOO. Oh, and then for funsies, why don't we do OMAH? Speaking of the covered call ETFs, I haven't looked at this one in a while. And then the metric we want is not price return. We want that total return because we want to see the dividends right there. Bing. So here we go. Everybody, what did I say in that video? And people told me I was wrong. I said over time, over a long enough period of time, that OMAH will underperform Berkshire on a total return basis. And people told me it was different. I was wrong. And so far, this is the 1-year total return chart you can see here. And look at this. OMAH has a total return of 4.84% to Berkshire's 5.9%. It's not great, when VOO, yes, is up 21.49%. But actually, that's not fair because OMAH didn't come out until March. So let's do 6 months. And there you go. I just completely blew apart my argument live on camera because I didn't pay attention to that. So I stand corrected, but OMAH has not even been out for a year yet. March will be a year. And there you go. OMAH 6.66%, VOO in the last 6 months, 23%, and Berkshire negative 10%. So it'll be interesting. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. Could be wrong. Could be. I messed up. There's that Billy Joel. This may be the lunatic you're looking for. I think that's Billy Joel, right? Yes, a singer I am not. But anyway, there we go. Let's get rid of OMAH and just do the year comparison. Yeah. But interesting. Look at that. There was a point there in April where Berkshire, right? So if the market tanks, I think Berkshire will outperform. And that's kind of what Warren built it as. So, all right, let's see some of these comments to you. MC and REITs love you. JJ's from Philly. Okay. You and Jim Cramer, I think, are both from Philly, yeah? Berkby is outperforming about 1/5 of your holdings. It's turn on before you pass. Well, I hope that's not anytime soon, Bubble. My goodness. I hope that we all outlive Warren, right? Yeah, take the Mag 7 out of VOO and where will it be? But, I love that comment, John, because I don't think you can do that. You can't take the Mag 7 out because it's kind of like when you're watching a football game and one team had, I don't know, a 95-yard touchdown run and there was missed tackles, and people will say, well, if you took that player's 95-yard touchdown run out, they would have lost. It's like, but you can't do that because they did it. And yeah, the Mag 7 is the engine behind the S&P 500. And, when you got the S&P 493, right? Yeah, Billy Joel. Has anybody watched that Billy Joel documentary? I haven't watched it yet, but I heard it's pretty good. And yeah, JJ, I agree. You can't. And I don't. Let's do some news, huh? For the 38 of us that are here. Or am I 39? I don't know how that works. I guess there's 39 because I'm the plus one. We'll do news on Simply Say. Let me get it set up. And in the meantime, listen to Compound Interest by. No, you're not going to. As I pull up Simply Safe Dividends. Oh, by the way, good. Cygnus, Bob. Why does it keep doing this with me? So I wanted to tell anybody that's watching and doesn't know on Simply Safe. Let me go to the bottom here. They do their spiel. They should put this bigger at the top, all the way at the bottom. Yeah, you can. YUCAN. You can. You can try for 2 free weeks. Simply Safe Dividends. You just need your email. That's it. So I guess if you create enough email addresses, you can use it free all year long. Now, it won't track your portfolios, but you could get the information. So let's do the news. There's a bit of news here. Let's see where we left off at. Didn't Ryan talk about Robert Half in one of his videos? I know we did this last week, but human resources, yeah, looks like they're getting disrupted by AI. I think we were 27th, maybe. Yeah, this is what we got to start with. Organon, they were a spinoff from Merck, and I had held them way back when. I received those when I used to hold Merck. I think those were that wasn't my swing trading days. But anyway, it looks like I didn't even read this. I should have. But their shares dropped 20% because there was an internal investigation and they face credibility concerns reporting scandal adds to debt and growth strain. Stay away. Don't get involved in Organon. And I think they're a company that focuses solely on women's health too. This is a company to be involved in. Simply Safe thinks they're reasonably valued. Visa, 14% dividend raise. So super fast hikes. Gosh, I love Visa. And I wish I would have bought more when it was in the 260s to 280s. I bought a lot. I sold things. I sold VTI to buy Visa. And I think I got 35 shares and I wasn't done accumulating. And then it just started popping up. Principal Financial, ticker PFG, raised the dividend 1.3%. They might be undervalued. Pause the video if you want to read any of these news blurbs faster than I'm scrolling. Marathon Petroleum, ticker MPC, 10% dividend raise. That is nice. And yeah, they are a majority owner of, don't confuse it with MLPX, but MPLX. There's the Alexandria for you, Trivon. They were, and I posted about it in the comments or in the community post. I kind of did a summary of what Simply Safe wrote, but yeah, big dividend downgrade from 76 to 50, and they got that 9% yield. Don't chase the yield. If you're interested in Alexandria, my thought would be interested in the business because you understand it and you have a thesis about why the business is going to be okay. And then you look at the dividend, I guess. But I think there's a lot of people that are going to get burned because they see that 9% yield and they're just going to go and buy Alexandria with understanding very little about the business. Honeywell, they did their spinoff. And again, yeah, aerospace, that's what I'm going to do a good look this week at Honeywell because that could be a lot of growth. That's what I want to see, plus a decent yield at 2.4%. Yeah, it's funny. They're listed as conglomerates. Well, I don't think that applies anymore because they are deconglomerating. Did I do that right? Kimco Retail raise their dividend 4%. Hey, there's a Kimco property right over by us, and I've called them before because their garbage cans are always full and overflowing onto the ground. Not a good look when they got their name right on the garbage can, Kimco. So tighten that up. Get people to buy there more to take care of the garbage. But they're reasonably valued at the low end of that range. Raise their dividend 4%. We got to go faster here. Reaffirmed safety score for essential utilities after they're going to merge with American Water Works. Interesting. Didn't even see this one. Forming the largest regulated water utility. Does anyone own Essential Utilities or American Water Works? Rockwell, electrical component company, raised the dividend 5.3%. Moving along, Exxon, we do own this, raised that dividend 4%. Could be reasonably valued with a nice starting yield. There we go. AbbVie, what's up? Headquartered right up there in northern Illinois near the Wisconsin border. You can see them off of I-294, the tri-state. Dividend safety score of 80 safe, raised that dividend 5.5%, and we are up a whole heck of a lot on them. OneMain, ticker OMF, raised the dividend 1%, so token raise while they're in a down cycle. I don't know about OneMain. Yeah, I've read about them. I should say I don't know about the future, but I've read a little bit about them, and they have lower credit quality customers. That's the niche they've carved out. So if we're going to an area that's where rates are rising and inflation is rising and people are going to have trouble, I don't think I'd want to be involved with lower credit quality customers, which OneMain does. So that's another yield, 7%. I might stay away from. There you go. American AWK is merging with Essential Utilities. So Entergy, ticker ETR, raised the dividend 7%. Marking, does that confusing when I say raise the dividend 7%? I just rounded up. I don't know if that's accurate or if you're allowed to do that, but I did it. Anyway, almost there. Last one. DuPont reaffirmed their safety score of 60, borderline safe, ticker DD. They are, I didn't get a chance to read this one either, but they are right-sizing the dividend after they are spinning off the electronics business, which is 33% of sales. All right, there's your news, Steve. Now I'm going to see what you people are rapping about. Like half Robert Price. Dresh. Somebody needs to get Dresh a microphone and a stool, man. The drip. Deez, did you make it already? ADP and Domino's Pizza. Yeah, I posted about Domino's Pizza. They are still the number one by sales volume pizza chain in the United States. Casey's, though. Shout out Casey's General Store. Did you know they're number 5? And I think they're the number... I think they might be the number 3 liquor store in the country, too. Crazy. But for those of you that live in rural areas, and I do a lot of driving around myself, it's funny because I'll be driving to some facility. Anyway, driving in this farm field, farm, come to an intersection, and there's Casey's General Store gas station and a Dollar Tree, or Dollar General, I mean. There's a Casey's and a Dollar General, and then nothing else for miles and miles and miles of farm fields. So interesting about Casey's anyway. That's another one I missed. Small dividend, but a lot of growth. And ADP, Dresh, I think they're solid. Look at that, Doc. Doc's busy cutting that hair, man. I got to do mine, you know. You may not be able to tell, but I take care of my own hair. It's how I save money. Yes, there's a functional purpose to my hairstyle. Anyway, for those of you too, I stole it from a picture I saw of my grandfather from the 1930s, and he was with his brothers, and I don't know, a couple other people, and at least 3 of the people that they're all dead now, but they had that. They were like super short on the sides, and maybe it was because people could maintain that more themselves. I don't know. But I kind of did something similar. I was like, I'm bringing back this haircut from 1934. Gosh dang it. Oh, did you, D? Oh, sweet. When I get off, when I'm through live streaming, I will check that out. I want to hear it. And anybody else, yeah, from Suno, Suno, it's an app. You can make songs. I made some bangers, dude. I also made D's a horror punk song because I grew up in Berwyn, Illinois, and I just said make a fun horror punk song with the lead guitar solos about zombie attack in Berwyn, and it did it called Zombies in Berwyn, and it's just I enjoy it. I'm surprised. I actually forget it's AI, and uh, I was listening. I was like, wait, who's this band again? Oh, that's right. It's all right. Oh, Bubble, do tell a little more. You started a position in Honeywell, and is that why? Are you thinking like I'm thinking? Hopefully, great minds are thinking alike. Is it because of the aerospace? Maybe. Well, I don't want to read that online. I don't. Do you guys want me to read through the Simply Safe what they said about Honeywell? I didn't. But if I get enough of you saying it, I'll go back and we can all learn what they said. I'll just read, tuck you into bed and read you a little blurb from Simply Safe Dividends about Honeywell as you drift off to sleep and you can see shares of Honeywell dancing in your head. Oh, that's funny. Journeyman's going to sell Dresch all of his DPZ Domino's Pizza shares. It's been rough. It's at the lowest point in 2 years. And yeah, it's QQQ is going for its 8th consecutive green month, which is the longest streak in 22 years. You know what's funny, JJ? And everybody thinks we're in a bubble, but it could be warranted because these companies have actual earnings. And the thing about the dot-com era, which, look, I wasn't investing then. My whole world in 99, 2000 was just drinking and women. That's all, and people say, oh my God, hey, this guy was a sailor. I was in the Navy and I was 21 at that time. So 21, 22. Yeah, it was a different era. We didn't have things like this where all these young kids can learn about it. But anyway, my experience with that was one of my uncle's friends quit his job to day trade, and it was working for him for some months. And then all of a sudden, the bubble popped, and he's going back to work, for another employee. Anyway, that's what I remember him telling me how easy it was to make money. And it's just, I remember him saying, he's like, Russ, anything with .com, and especially anything new with .com, as soon as it comes out, you just buy it, you hold it for a day or two, and then you sell it. And then you look, I was like, all right, well, I'm like, where's the booze and the women in that now? So, but then it blew up. But I guess what I'm saying is that a lot of those companies didn't have earnings. They were all OKLO, ticker OKLO. It was an idea on paper. They had no real revenue. A lot of them were literally, they had an idea, they got a .com domain, and then they went IPO, and people were flooding in and buying. But a lot of these companies now, they have actual legit earnings. So it really could be different this time. But I'm rooting for a steep correction. Sorry, Kevin. I see you popped in. For those of you that are retired, it's funny, as Warren Buffett taught me, is that he, as I've learned from studying Warren Buffett, okay, I guess he did teach me, is that the only time you really want prices to go up are when you are selling. That's it. If you are a net buyer of anything, of stocks, of food, of gas, you want prices to go down because you get more bang for your buck. Duh, right? But you want to have higher prices when you're selling something. So that's why Warren had said, look, if you're in buy mode, if you're in accumulation mode, don't be afraid of prices going down. You should want prices to go down a lot. So, yeah, that's that. I'm excited, Deez, to check that out. I'm like counting down. I'm like, 20 more minutes. I can hear Deez' song. QQQ is legit. Kev says it's the only index that is outperforming his portfolio this year. If young again, I might go really heavy into. For those of you that followed the Deep End podcast, I know Ari Gutman has gone really heavy into tech, and I don't know if he has shared which tech fund he's buying. It might be the Qs. And I've thought of that too, because I'm 47, Kevin. I'm looking for right. So right now I have $1,000. I have 10 shares of SGov, and I'm waiting for a pullback. So I don't know, man. Maybe instead of waiting for Costco, which has a lot of, I want something that's going to also have growth component to it. Let's see what Seeking Alpha gives the Qs real quick. But I like that. That's very helpful, Kevin. By the way, Kevin is a YouTuber. He has a live stream every Monday night, which I haven't tuned into in about a month because I've been so freaking busy with things. Actually, you'll notice my video came out today in the newsletter today. That's because Halloween was Friday night. We had people over. And Saturday, we went up to Marquette in Milwaukee to tour the college. And it was just, it's been a busy weekend. So the extra hour was a blessing in disguise. Oh, we were going to look at the Qs, but Alan, Robinhood is working on releasing a social platform like Blossom. Do you have any thoughts? I have not heard of that yet. That's news to me. And hey, Robinhood is just trying everything, and most of it is working. Are they going to have a few Fire phones? Probably, right? But you've got to try. They have to try to keep expanding in new areas of revenue just to create them. And then Bubble, we'll look up QQQM. We will, VGT. That's interesting, Drush. Thank you for sharing that. But I'm going to look up all three of those real quick on, what am I looking up on? Seeking Alpha. We'll go the Qs M and VGT just to see which the quant recommends. Instead, I almost played my compound interest song again. It's a banger. It's on repeat. All right, where am I doing here? Now I'm goofing off. There we go. So this was they all start with F. S. Alpha spread does not though, but it's got an S in there. Here we go. Let's see what the quant gives. Start with the Qs, the Invesco Qs. Oh, I'm still on the charting. Oh, which interestingly, on a price return, it has over the 1 year outperformed the S&P. But this is what I want, the summary. So right here, the rating summary, it gets a buy. And yeah, that thing's up 30% this year. God. Like 133% over the past 5 years. Why don't we have the analysts giving their buy ratings? And I guess they didn't. We have a strong buy here on October 31st. All right. Well, so one strong buy rating. Let's go to QQQMs. And the quant gives it a buy. We got two buys for QQQM, which, right, this is the one to hold longer. I always forget which. The Qs is for traders, but QQQM is for long-term investing, right? Let's see, expense ratio 0.15%. But the Qs, yeah, so the Qs right there is $630 a share, and it has a higher expense ratio of, what do you say that, 5 basis points? And then we look at QQQM, and it's a lot, quote unquote, cheaper, and it has a lower expense ratio. So Interesting. Maybe QQQM. Maybe I should just buy some of that and just say hell with it. They give it a buy. But yeah, a lot of strong buys, couple holds. Huh, interesting. And then let's look at the one you guys said Ari's in, right? VGT. The Vanguard Infotech. Oh my God. 36% this year. 165% in the 5 years. Yeah, it's Vanguard, right? Yep. So that's probably why Ari's going for that 0.09% expense ratio. And it is so hard, guys. How do you fight that? Where how much higher can it go? Infinite. That's how much higher. There's no ceiling. It can go as high as you can imagine. You have to go down a few to get a sell. Where it said fantastic holdings, but just too expensive for our liking at the moment. And I'm sure it's the Mag 7 driving it. Sorry about this. Let's see. They do have a couple industrials. Yeah, 97, 98%. Yep, of course. I don't even know why I have to look. NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft, Broadcom, Oracle, Palantir, Cisco, AMD, IBM, Salesforce. And let me come back to you guys. You know, my thought on that is I kind of want an easy button because I think that I don't really understand tech as well as I think I should to pick stocks individually. So there's the answer right there. You buy the ETF. It's tech focused. I don't have to pick Palantir or any of them. It will automatically do it. And yeah, there you go. Dresh. The difference between the Qs and the QSM is they're the same, but the Qs is better for options because it has more trading volume. So there you go. If you are a long-term, if you have a long-term horizon, I guess, or you want to buy and hold, then I guess the QSM. And JJ likes VGT. JJ, tell us in very simplistic terms, why do you like VGT the best? Because I may actually, yeah, I'm looking for something. And it almost feels at this point like when in Rome, if you can't beat them, join them. I'm waiting for lower prices, but then I don't buy because does that make sense? I start seeing it come down and down. I'm like, well, it'll probably go lower. I'll wait another couple days, and it never does. Just the dips. It dips and then it rips. But I'm on VGT's $793, so I can afford. I can afford more, but what I have in SGov, I can pick up one full share of it. Hey, that's it's tough because I 40 almost what I think like almost 45% of my investment portfolio is in the S&P 500. That's including 401k, Roth, a self-directed IRA, and because it's so tech heavy, it almost feels like I don't want to be too tech heavy, but do you guys think this is the fourth industrial revolution? Is it just beginning? And that's my worry. Like, what if this is the beginning of the fourth industrial revolution? Oh, another company on my radar that doesn't pay a dividend is Uber. And this goes back to Peter Lynch's like Lynchian. What's around you? What are you using? When I was in Vegas, lots of people were using Uber. We did try to use the Zoox, which is from Amazon, I believe. It's an EV. It looks like a refrigerator on its side, and there's no driver. It's completely autonomous. And right now they're doing free rides between a few of the hotels, just trying to get, work out the kinks, build up the credibility, saying, hey, we did this many miles with people in it. And, but I don't remember what I was saying now. I was telling you about Zoox. Oh, Uber. So a lot of people used Uber. We used the Uber. I had a 10% off or 15% coupon for Lyft. Lyft was still way more expensive. It was more expensive and a longer wait time. Uber was cheaper and faster. When I came back home, there was people at the airport taking Uber. And then oddly enough, the week before, no, this week, My weeks are all mixed up here. This week, my daughter had a flag football banquet, right? So my mother-in-law is in her late 60s. My father-in-law came to our house from work. My mother-in-law lives about 25 minutes away, but she didn't want to drive because it was getting late. And I just thought, like, oh yeah, that's interesting. People not wanting to drive at night. What they say, the silver tsunami's coming. Well, how many people are going to use Uber or rideshare to take to go where they want to go because they're old and they don't want to drive at night? It's getting dark out early. What if you're 73 years old, you don't like to drive when it's dark, it's December, and your friends are meeting out for dinner or something, and it's 5 o'clock, 5:30? Well, it's dark. Probably be a good idea to take Uber, especially if you're going to have a few drinks too. So yeah, Uber, Uber is one of my thoughts too. And I know it doesn't pay a dividend and whatever, but I think there's growth. And then also the autonomous aspect of it is, Uber is working with, I believe, NVIDIA and I think Waymo, right? I think they're also working with Waymo. I should have these facts straight because I've just dilly-dallied, I guess, not dilly-dallied, but gently peeked in on a company like Uber. So that is one that I am also considering buying. But did I know why Hershey kept its dividend the same for 2 years now? Will it lose its dividend streak or is it frozen? Yeah, Hershey, right? They beat earnings, but they didn't increase their guidance this week. I think I remember reading that. And if they did that, isn't that almost like a guide down? If you beat earnings and you don't raise guidance, that could almost be like a guide down. But let's look at that, Trevon. Trevon with the good questions. I love it, man. We'll have to do this quick. Let's look at Hershey. I haven't peeked in on them in a minute. So we'll see what Hershey is doing. I think they have a very safe, or maybe they got downgraded. I think they got downgraded. So they have a dividend safety score of 80. Could be reasonably valued. They've been struggling. I know cocoa prices have been higher. They were downgraded May of last year because of elevated cocoa prices. But yeah, latest. You're right, Trevon. 15-year growth streak, 95 years uninterrupted. And I will maintain, when you see when a company normally raises that dividend over and over and over, and then they don't, that they're about to lose their dividend growth streak. So maybe they're holding on to the last minute and they're going to give a penny raise. That would be my guess. But yeah, and they're still, that PE is still a little bit high for them. So, their payout ratio is climbing. They've got issues, and some of it is not their fault, right? GLP-1s, higher cocoa prices, people always wanting to be healthier, maybe not getting into the candy. Yeah, no sales growth in 24. Gently raising their sales are climbing up. They've slightly buying back shares. It's just, I don't know. I mean, now that I'm thinking of the growth, margins are compressing. Let's see their debt. Free cash flow margin is still decent. At least their debt is coming down, and their ICR, while low, is still decent. So it just looks okay. If I were retired, I think I would feel much more confident if I was living off dividends. But honestly, aside from my Main Street Capital, Agree Realty, and Vici Properties, which I don't expect a whole heck of a lot of growth, but I do expect them to grow faster than realty income. Those are in my self-directed IRA, pre-tax dollar account. So, I like the income. It's maybe 5% of my overall investment net worth, those three. So it's not huge, but yeah, and I don't know, Trevon. I guess that's why they're struggling. They're trying to conserve cash and figure it out until the last. All right. So if you don't intend on selling options, then instead of the Qs, go with SCHG, VUG, or the QMs, lower expense. Very well. Thank you for that. That's an interesting point, Dresh, that I did not know. VGT has some small cap tech and more diversification than XLK. And JJ also weighing in with VGT. Cheap expense ratio outperformed them all long term. Yeah, and then they're all going to have a similar thing. I love it. And that's competition. So FTech as Fidelity's version of VGT. I'm particular to Vanguard. That's just me, you know. Don't FOMO your way into a YOLO position. Are you just sharing lyrics now from your song, D's? Oh, Adam, dude, thanks a lot. Yeah, I love it. You guys pop in, pop out. Get on the Google train. Waymo over Tesla or Zoox. I missed it, Dresh. I flat out missed Google. I remember it seems like it was a couple months ago. It was in the 160s. And again, Ari Gutman was buying it. I had the same thoughts as Ryan. I thought, you know what? I have enough exposure to Google through the S&P 500. And because of that, I didn't buy. And I did think that, well, if it goes a lot lower, I'll probably buy some. But very interesting about Tootsie Roll. Again, about their special distributions. No, it's a stock split. They split their stock every year. So it's like a 1.03 for 1. It's a real interesting quirk. If you hold 100 shares of Tootsie Roll, you will receive 3 extra shares every year, and the stock price will adjust just a little bit. So nothing fundamentally changes with the company, and it's a way of almost like a variable dividend where they just give you the extra shares. I believe it's non-taxable, and you can sell those shares with, including the dividend they pay you, which is a little over 1%, and the 3% extra. You get about a 4% dividend yield, but you have to sell the extra shares to make that happen. But it's interesting because I call it a variable dividend because you don't have to sell the shares. You can decide. And that's one thing Warren Buffett likes about companies that reinvest everything into the business and don't pay a dividend, because dividends are double taxed, right? Once at the corporate level and once when you receive them at the investor level. So if the company buys back shares and doesn't pay a dividend, the stock price theoretically should go up quicker because the company can hopefully reinvest into the business to make the business grow even quicker than a company that's paying out a portion of their retained capital as a dividend. So you should be able to sell shares, and because the shares will be worth more progressively going further, you would have more than if you could take out the same amount as the dividend and you would have more. It's a whole example Buffett did. Maybe I should do another video on that in the future, but yeah, that's why the senior dinner rush starts at 4. Well, yeah, I got you on that on John. That's a good point, and it's probably going to keep continuing. Dees thinks Google still looks good. John, I'm not sure where you see Google at 80. It's like 280 now, right? Almost, right? I think you missed the 2 in there. SMH, Dresh likes them. Less concentration on semis. Yeah, and that has to be one of the worries are the chips going to be, has there been such a rapid build out that you will need less? My daughter has Caterpillar, right? They are building and maintaining with their equipment I just worked at a job and they had a Caterpillar generator. So Caterpillar has been involved in what houses the AI, right? Building places for AI to live. It's a weird thought, yeah. But I will take an applause for that. Thank you. Build the places for AI to live. It's this. I stumbled on these sounds, but we won't play. Okay, we will play 80s background for 3 seconds. I miss the 80s. But why do you miss the 80s, Uncle Russ? You weren't investing then. Well, that'll be a different story for a different time. Gotta hit the old dusty trail. And it's fun with you guys here. Plus D's, I gotta hear your AI song you made, but we didn't really look up a lot. Oh, Doc, you're looking to get into Micron, ticker MU. I did share. I corrected it. Somebody corrected me. Shame on, shame on me. I saw I was installing a scissors lift and the transformer. So this will be super boring. These lifts go up with hydraulic fluid. There is a reservoir that's usually inside, but this one was outside. So there's a heater that mounts into the fluid with an element sticking into the fluid and it keeps it warm. So the hydraulic fluid, if you get 50 below zero, 40 below zero, hydraulic fluid will freeze or it'll get so thick that it won't move through the lines, right? This is why I should have bought Parker Hannifin because we use their hoses and I'm familiar with them. But the transformer for the heater, right? Is this too technical? Are you following? 480 volts comes in. It's 110 for the transformer. So we had to use that power. You can't put it directly into the 150. It would blow it up. So the transformer transforms the high voltage into lower voltage so you can use it and doesn't blow it up. But anyway, Micron, ticker MU, was, well, I thought it was ticker MU, but it was Micron Power. So it was a different Micron. And I corrected the post, but somebody shared that. So I'm glad they did, but I don't know. Hey, that me explaining a heater for a hydraulic reservoir that's mounted outside and how the transformer like just at that basic level, that could probably be marketed as a cure for insomnia, which I'm going to have to put that in the video description. So, and D's, we'll leave it with that. We'll see where all this spending, but right now we're in the crazy spending phase and the market is going to want to start seeing results. And that's what I think a lot of people are thinking could be the next, I don't know, down cycle or the catalyst for the market taking a breather is when everyone says, okay, you've been spending billions and billions of dollars building out AI. Where's the results? We want to see the results now, the fruits of that labor. So, Matt, it's okay, man. I love you. You always got the replay. Make sure you check out the beginning because I shared something that probably has never been done in the history of the world before, as far as I'm aware. So, yes, it was a song about compound interest, skate punk style. But everyone, have a fun week. We'll look up more of your stocks next week. I blame you. Nobody really threw anything, but we hopefully learned something about the Qs and QQQM. And say, I'm a little bit smarter for that. D's, I'll be looking for that email. And Doc, nice. We'll see. Yeah, the shutdown continues. But long term, I think we'll be all right. So I appreciate it. And all of you people out there, thanks for stopping by. I'll see you next week. God bless you.